Welcome to the newsstand of the hottest new podcast, Opinions 2 Million, with your hosts, Big G, Money Mo, and Shawnee, where we'll be discussing the latest and greatest heat from the culture. Man, did you hear that beat drop? You ain't ready. Let's get straight into it. Opinions to reach 1 million followers, opinions to reach $1 million. New pod dropping every week. I officially welcome you to Opinions 2 Million podcast. Let the beat rock. We back at it for another one, man. Episode 19. Let's get straight into it. We got the whole gang in here. We got Money Mo. We got Shawnee. We got our special guest, Chris. What's going on, Chris? How you doing?
Chris the barber.
What's going on, Gary? What's going on, Mo?
Yes,
Sean, how y'all been?
Yo, your mic is breaking up. This man, Mo. Yo, in the boonies.
You said even his laugh is stuttering.
I'm dead, man. While Mo getting his situation fixed up, man, we're gonna go ahead and run down these topics. We're gonna go ahead and talk about the NFL, the lawsuit pending in the NFL. We're gonna talk about, U.S. sending troops to Ukraine. We're gonna talk about Black History Month. We're talk about the Washington Redskins' new name, the Commanders, Tom Brady retiring. We can talk about the new information on FBG Ducks case. And talk about Whoopi Goldberg, man. What's going on her in the Jewish community? Man, it really broke a lot of people's hearts when they found out Rihanna was pregnant. And then we got a special ending. We're gonna go ahead and talk about some overdraft fees. A lot of banks are stopping overdraft fees. Talking about some crypto contracts, and then we're gonna end it, man. We're gonna have a little talk about the barber industry. And man, we got to talk about, we need some type of competition between the two barbers on the pod. So man, we're gonna set something up. Yeah, we right into it, Mo. We still on it right to you. I just finished the topics. What's going on?
Yes,
what's going on in the NFL, man, with Brian?
Oh yeah, man. So basically, it's only out of 32 teams, it's only one Black NFL head coach. You know what I'm saying? It's I think one got fired last year,
and that was two. The Steelers, right? Only the Steelers.
Yeah, Mike Tomlin's is the only Black head coach in the NFL, and it's been like after the season, after the regular season, it's been like 6 openings for, you know what I'm saying, maybe teams to change that, and a lot of Black coaches been getting interviews, but none of them be getting the head coaching job. So Brian Flores is just basically he was the Dolphins head coach last year. He got fired after 2 winning seasons. Was basically like, all these interviews I've been to, they already had the guy chosen. They just interviewing me for the media. It's a formality.
No, they have to because the Rooney rule.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Isn't there a rule in place that
yeah, it's a Rooney rule.
You got to get so many interviews from minorities or something like that?
Yep, yeah. So it's a Rooney rule. But the thing about it, somebody put in comparison to, it's like, the NFL is dominated by Black players.
It's like 70%. So like if you do 70%, equity, if there's, you said there's 32 teams, right? At 70%, that would be, it come out like 22.4. So 22, 23 coaches.
I feel like 70% is even low, Gary. I feel like it's more than that, isn't it? Like, I don't know.
What? 70%?
If you look at it,
the NFL, what's the players? 70%.
I want to say it's closer to 80, right?
Yeah, it's got to be something like that.
Like,
when you got 3 backup quarterbacks that are white, so that probably like takes over a lot of positions.
And the offensive lineman.
But think about it though. If you think about what are the positions white people play, they
tight end,
a quarterback, tight end, a kicker, line, punter, maybe a couple linebackers. Like
offensive linemen get away with it too. So that's leading. This is just, but so. But it's crazy.
But one thing I will say, hold on, I agree with everything. I just had to say one thing. So I think the numbers off. I think it's 2. Didn't Brian Leftwich get hired? Isn't it 2 now? That's the whole thing I was confused about.
I don't think he's officially been hired yet.
I thought it was official with Jacksonville.
I don't think so.
They just pushed him away because he went a different GM. So now he's out of the running.
All right, man. Y'all guys finish talking about the story. What happened? He got a text from somebody.
There was another thing. So along with that, the reason he going back to Miami, right? He was supposedly the owner was willing to pay him $100K for every loss, so they would get better draft picks. But see, the whole thing is like if you were to take that, right? And if you
switched the whole story up.
No, it goes with him losing, right, and getting fired, and then it moves to him not getting other jobs. With the whole Brian Flores things, it's like if you were to lose, people were going to be like, oh, he could have just lost and got Joey Burrow. It's like if he would have lost, like I think I saw a tweet. It was like he wouldn't have had a job. He would have gotten fired because he lost. It would have been like, all right, well, you had the worst record, so you have to get fired. If you have the worst record, it's hard for like as a team to like not fire you. So they would have fired him regardless. So it's like I feel like he was in a trap for real. Like there's not much he could have done.
That didn't help anybody understand what's going on, man.
So
when I know
I could
all this and lost, I would have got fired. Oh, he could have won, and then none of that helped. From my understanding, man, he got a text message from the I don't even know the man's name.
Bill Belichick.
Belichick. Yeah, Belichick talking about that congratulations for the job, I guess, and he's saying that Belichick didn't mean to send it to him. He meant to set somebody else. And from when I guess they did the time receipts on it, he sent it congratulations to that person before that person even interviewed for the job. So that's
Brian Noble for the Giants.
Yeah, so that's how he's saying, that's his basis for saying that, they got some shady business going on, and they really put that Rudy rule in effect just for it to look good on the optics. So what's your thoughts on that? I don't know what Z talking about, all these $100,000 lose games and stuff.
And like the crazy thing about it is too, is like it's not the fact, like I hear a lot of people say like, oh, it's probably more qualified people in general, but the fact that it's just one is the craziest thing. I wouldn't complain if it was only like 7 or 10. You know what I'm saying? And people keep saying like maybe the white side is more qualified. But when you got like coaches, the only black head coach is Mike Tomlin, and last year was a Texans coach when they couldn't even compete. Like, how could you say they're not competing with the top dogs and stuff like that?
So I want to talk about that a little bit more, Mo, if we could. The situation in Houston, they said the whole time from the jump, they only hired that guy with the intentions of firing him after this year. He couldn't have done anything to keep his job. And I think that needs more spotlight than even what's going on with Brian Flores, because he was one of the African-American coaches, and they basically said there was people from inside the organization saying he couldn't have done anything to keep his job. He was just a one-year coach, so they could go out and get what they wanted after. He was just kind of holding the fort down. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's true. It's like it's my thoughts too was like growing up basically is like not to be on like a racist side, but every race, like if you growing up, you want to have a leader that's your color. Nobody can relate to you more than somebody of your color. So it's like you got these like NFL players. Like, don't get me wrong, obviously it's a lot of white coaches they can relate to, but when you got like players like coaches like Bill O'Brien pushing Deshaun Watson away, Deshaun saying he can't work with him and stuff like that, it's just crazy. It makes you wonder. So it's like I think that, like Z was saying before, is like being the head coach is not all about calling plays. It's about being a leader. The people's who they can text you at night if they need help or something like that. And I think like as African American, the best person to relate to be African American.
Yeah, I feel like just being a head coach, you got to be like a player's coach. Like strategy wise, that's like that's what the coordinators are doing. As a head coach, you trying to get your team on the same page. You're responsible for personnel. And just making sure, like I feel like when you get to the NFL, it's so big and it's so strategic, but that's more handled by, you got like an offensive line, you have an assistant offensive line coach, you have so many coaches. They're more of like, a coach can come up with the game plans, but as a head coach, you got to be like the one that's talking to the players. And if it's 70% of one race and you don't have that to like, if you just have like a white coach, then it's just a picture you're trying to put up front more than trying to be the player's coach and get to be able to relate the player and get the right.
The joint, man. I think as you really look at it, the Rudy rule or whatever it is called might be hurting it, man. Because I think that gives the teams an easy out to say that they couldn't find nobody qualified or that they brought these many people in, right? So that it kind of gives them a way to pick the person they wanted to anyway, without, saying that, they have discriminative practices. But I mean, it's something that definitely needs to be addressed. I seen Mo post something on Instagram. It was like, imagine if you woke up tomorrow and half of the NHL coaches were half of the head coaches of the NHL were black. Like everybody would think something's wrong.
And not even half, like what if like all of them but one? You know what I mean?
So it'd be like everybody would think something strange
but
about
my
that.
whole thing, I feel like it's so weird. Like I feel like the Rooney Rule, you're saying it doesn't work, but it's like, what is the alternative? How can you force, like, what do you guys think it should be done? It needs to be done to change. I know it needs to be done, but how are you going to fix it? I think the Rooney Rule kind of works because it kind of forces them to interview. But like, if that weren't the case, how can you tell a team to like, like you have to, choose this guy over that? Because at the end of the day, the owners are going to kind of choose for them. So what do you guys think needs to be done to bring the change?
Yeah, that's true. But like the thing too about the Rooney Rule, people don't understand. It's like underrated.
You get like draft picks too with it, don't you?
Yeah, but it's like it's confusing because it's like, so if like the Browns wanted to hire our defensive coordinator as a head coach, we would get 2 third-round draft picks. So the Browns won't want to help us out. You know what I mean? So it'd be like a type of situation like, oh no, we're not gonna hire that dude or anybody in general. Like, it don't even gotta be a division rival. Like I know the Saints were about. I mean the Bucks. The Saints were about to hire the Bucks offensive coordinator, but they're gonna give their division rivals 2 third-round picks. They're like, nah. So that could be in there too.
Yeah. I mean, the thing to solve it, I mean, it's a thing was just like at some point it got to come to, representation. Like if it's 70 plus, or you say like 70, we just use 70% black, like that's just how it got to be made up. Right. Like naturally, I feel like naturally, if people wasn't acting, from outside factors, that it would naturally just filter out close to whatever the representation would be. Like if you really think about it, like if you go to like NHL, since that was the comparison made, like I'm pretty sure it's not that many black people trying to be head coaches in the NHL, because not that many black people are playing hockey on the mass level. So you know what I'm saying? It's just.
But you got to think about it like this too. The NFL was like I don't know how many $1 billion like it's more of a business. So that's why you see more of the white coaches and the white faces, because it's like.
So you're saying they the only people that know how to do business?
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that the people that are running the owners that are owning the business, they want the faces to be white because it's so big.
I don't know about that, Z. I don't know about that.
So you're saying they're more palatable, so that's how they can sell it to the American people.
Yeah, I mean, how many owners do you have that are like? Well, you have one minority coach that I know, but I don't know how many other coaches are. I mean, I don't know. I just see because it's so big. That's why I feel like NHL doesn't matter, right? Because it's not that big. The NFL, like you guys look at the numbers for the divisional round and the conference championship games, how much numbers like it did, but even though all the controversy it has and people saying that they're going to stop and they're going to boycott it and this and that, the NFL is a very, very
well. Let me ask you this:
business.
I'm really not too big on sports, but are sports fans buying into coaches? Is that like how much real state? If you saying that they got to keep the coaches white so that they can relate to the people, how much of the sports experience is the coach, or is it the players? Really, what are you tuning in for the coach? If you
I think it
depends on the team.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
In the NFL, like certain teams, you can have at the end of the day, you can have all the talent in the world. For example, I like the Cowboys. So the Cowboys have one of, if not the best rosters in the NFL, but they can't do anything with it because their coach can't coach. So at the end of the day, I feel like football is probably the most important sport to have a good coach. I feel like basketball, you can go without a coach because you seen LeBron do his thing with tons of coaches.
Yeah, coaching on the floor, yeah.
Definitely baseball. You can go without managing baseball.
Baseball,
yeah.
Much, but football, you gotta have that person to, hold the team together, kind of.
I think basketball might be more important.
Now, basketball, you got like players like Chris Paul that are like trying to coach the people out there on the floor. But in football, I feel like
because the Lakers got all the talent in the world, but it's just like, you know what I'm saying? But
that's
it's weird. This is the weird. I'm not explaining it.
About going back to the coaches, I wanted to ask: do you guys think it's more of a I feel like it's more of a problem coaches even getting recognition to interview as a head coach being African American, because if you look at the pool of African American coaches, how many right now would you honestly say could be head coaches? I don't think it's any more than 5, you know?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I think there should be more getting consideration, but I'm trying to figure out how to word this. So there's only 5 that get consideration, and they should get consideration.
But they're not the best ones anymore.
They're not
That's the worst part.
I know there could be more out there, but we don't hear about them, and even
Chris, I think that stops because they don't even like, okay, so with head coaches, right? Where are they usually coming from? Coordinator positions. But it's even harder for them. It's like a big deal if they even get there, right? It's just hard to even get to that level. And I feel like you kind of like dealing with what you have. That's why you have more of these like the white coaches, because they were able to get the coordinator positions, and now they have more white coordinators, and this team did this well this year, so let's hire them. So I think it starts like, it doesn't just show up at like the last level. I think it's happening at every level, right? Like,
but if I was looking at, if I flipped the script from the other side and who just got hired, Brian Dable, and he's more than qualified to be a head coach, and I feel like people are taking out on him when they shouldn't be. You know what I'm saying? They should, because he's more than qualified to be a head coach, and he should be. But people are mad at him because
you know what's weird about like
get the job. You know, I think that's wrong. You know.
Yeah,
I think
it's what's weird though about pushing players and having the like having the. It's weird though, like the two of the coaches that have won like the best coach in the NFL is supposed to be Bill Belichick, right? Because this man's won so many Super Bowls. But like, you know, he's not. You wouldn't think of him being like the a player's coach. I don't know. I feel like no player would ever be like, oh, let me relate to Bill Belichick. And same thing with like. We have Mike Tomlin is the other one. Mike Tomlin is the most players coach. Like he would be like the person I feel like would relate to any player on any level, and like even if it's like a, you know what I mean, like a blue collar. I mean, obviously of course a blue collar person, but if it's any like white regular quarterback or like, you know, like coming from the tough streets, like I feel like you just relate to anybody so well.
And at the end of the day, I don't even think fans care about relating. I think fans just care about wins and losses. I think if he's a good coach, whether he's white, black, Chinese, whatever, I think if the coach goes out there and wins the Super Bowl, they don't give a shit. Even though, like, you have those people in America that are prejudiced or racist or whatever, they don't even look at it like that. You know, they just care about winning so bad.
Yeah, but the thing too, like Chris said, it was like mainly head coaches come from like defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator. You gotta go do that step first, and it's not a lot of black ones in general. Like all the black ones. Yeah, all the black ones. All the black head coaches kind of like all the black head coaches kind of like the older black head coaches like Jim Caldwell's and stuff like that.
Yeah. When you see like Mike Tomlin coming young, but other than that, like I haven't seen anybody young black.
So it needs to be younger ones, like some like younger ones in general.
I mean, you see like the only person that's like doing it right now is young is like Brian Leftwich. That's because he's a player, and that helped.
Right, he's like 43. Yeah. We'll see
Anthony Lynn too was kind of young. He wasn't that old.
But no, just to go off this topic, what it started with, Gary, just what I was talking about. So Brian Flores' whole situation, him getting fired, the whole thing was that he was supposedly, the owner was telling him that they would pay him $100K if he were to lose games, right? So they would get a higher draft pick. But he was like, no, he was all about winning. In the last 2 years, he's been there for 3 years, I think. The last 2 years, he had winning records, and he was like, I got fired like after having a winning record. So the whole thing just going back to.
Yeah, but they also started like 1-6, you know.
But then you win 6 in a row, yo.
Yeah, but you start.
Yeah,
you
didn't
know,
they like 1 year they get beat by the Ravens like 50 plus to 0 or something?
No, that was the year. That was Lamar's rookie year, I think.
Well, what team?
When he played for he coached from Miami, right?
Oh
right, when the Ravens beat them, though, that was a couple years. I don't think he was there. I think that was Adam Gase still. That was going on 4 years ago.
Yeah, that's what fucking.
We ready to keep on. But let me ask you this, man. Who do you think gonna hit 70% first? Quarterbacks or head coaches? Like, nah.
It's gonna be head coaches.
Quarterbacks, bro.
But it seems how it's evolving on all the new technology. You see the old quarterbacks. It's nothing like today. You know what I'm saying? Mobile quarterbacks are nothing.
Quarterbacks are stepping there up, man. We got a lot of.
It's the technology. Technology is going crazy.
Quarterbacks, it's probably close. it's close to 50% right now with quarterbacks. I'm pretty sure it's like 40 something.
Because you've seen white quarterbacks starting to run now. Like you would never see a Justin Herbert running type back in the day.
You say
who's the fastest white running back back in the day? Like a
Steve Young.
Like a Josh Allen. I said white.
Steve Young was white.
I mean quarterback. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he was a white quarterback for the 49ers. Steve
they were not fast. They were not fast.
Steve Young was fast. Steve Young was rushing.
Steve Young was Mike Vick before Mike Vick.
Stop it. He was not.
He was fast and he has rushing records. He was a runner.
He ran for like 800 yards like 6 years in a row.
But that was like, was it 2000?
He wouldn't like juke nobody out. He would just run because he got space.
Early 90s.
He wasn't a juker. Don't get it twisted. He wasn't like.
But that was like a dominant and rough. Now you got like a Justin Herbert, Josh Allen. You know what I'm saying? All these quarterbacks and stuff. Right. And the black ones in general.
I mean, look at Tom Brady saying he can't move.
I'm dying.
All right, man. We're gonna go ahead and get this next
involved.
topic.
Sure, I mean,
is Biden starting World War III? Man, what's going on?
Yeah.
The U.S. is planning to send some troops to Ukraine. I don't really know too much about this, man, but I know some tensions between Russia and Ukraine, and
we'll let Anthony talk about this because he had something to tweet about, and he's in the military. So if anybody's gonna come on anyone's door,
that's crazy. Y'all played them straight on blast.
If anybody's
let Anthony talk about this.
Actually, if I could take this, I actually did a little bit of research earlier, so I got some facts for you.
All right, let's hear it. What do you got?
So evidently, a lot of people, it's not confirmed, but a lot of people believe it's over crypto because Bitcoin is actually, it was actually founded or not founded, but like originated in Russia. And something about the Ukraine government got involved trying to get their hands on it. And it started a crazy war where not as much as like a physical war, but a through the computers back and forth between Russia and Ukraine. And then it kind of led to other people getting involved. And a lot of people think that's why the US is sending people over there because it's just getting too crazy now, but they won't actually admit that to the American people. So
they always start that stuff. It's like that. No, so
but they say cyber is going to be the reason for the next war, or even wars are right now.
They're saying Satoshi Nakamoto is from Ukraine or Russia.
For real?
Nah, I don't know about all that.
But
maybe if you said Ethereum, like Ethereum, everybody knows. What's his name? Buterin, Alexander Buterin is from Russia.
It might have been Ethereum then. I thought it said Bitcoin, but I might be wrong.
But let me take it for the military side. So that's interesting. That's interesting though. But like the thing about Russia and Ukraine.
Listen, let me get these military sciences.
Russia is like they view Ukraine as their baby brother. They've always had like a fascination with it. They've always thought they were part of Russia. But the thing about Ukraine, it borders Romania, Poland, and Belarus, so it's a real important like access point. So Russia's trying to take over that country in order to have all the resources, but the United States is going and basically stopping it because if Russia gets that part of like Ukraine, the access they have to Europe will be like crazy. Right. So it's like they've always been going at it. Russia, like Ukraine, just trying to hold up, like stop their big brother from just taking over them and stuff.
I don't think you can even look at it on the map. Wants Russia to take over, from my understanding as well.
No, you said they do.
They don't.
No, that's not saying they don't. They just trying to avoid it. Like you can try to look it up on the map. See, like it's real important.
Yeah, no, it's right next. They were right. I'm pretty sure during the USSR, they were one. I think it split after, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it's like they've always trying to get it back. Like Ukraine's like a real important.
Yeah, man, you gotta do a little research on that geopolitical wars. Crazy for borders and countries. You always hear like I really don't hear too much about them Eastern European countries, Ukraine, and the Slavias and the stands, a little upper the stands.
Right.
Look, all I know is I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but I ordered a pair of shoes and they're shipping from Denmark and Holland and the Netherlands, and it got delayed really bad. So I don't know if that has anything to do with that or not. But
yeah, they're coming from China.
That is interesting.
They're verified on StockX. No, StockX. It's verified. It's verified. But
I'm dead.
Verified seller from China. It's like,
What?
verified seller.
I'm not joking. I'm joking, bro.
But
What's
it's crazy
next?
to like anything happen with that. It's like they can really start something.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't
So
know.
we all gonna keep an eye on that, man. We don't want Biden taking us down. But
Yeah.
what y'all think about the what y'all think about the new name of the Washington I was ready to say Redskins.
You gotta have Mo take this one because that's all he's been tweeting about for the last 3 days.
Yeah, I seen some people like using the USSR like symbol, yo. These people been going crazy, yo.
Oh yeah, with the commander.
But my thing about it, if you own over an NFL team, why are you not asking your fans what they want? That's what I never
They should
understood.
have had a contest, yo. They should have made
That's what the
name of it.
Ravens did. Ravens had a contest basically in the newspaper with name they want. It was between the Martyrs.
That's why would you want to
Americans.
be the Commanders? Like even like no matter
Right.
what, like that's I mean we're gonna eventually just get used to it and stuff. I got a question. What does a Packers mean, right? What is Packers?
I know.
The packing factor. So Green Bay has. Hold on, let me choose ice real
Chris
quick.
has been waiting his whole life for this moment.
Z's, I can tell you what
Just-
Steelers. I can tell you what Steelers is.
So like in Green Bay,
Not because it
Green
makes
Bay,
sense, but is it
Wisconsin.
cheese?
Z, let me talk, bro. Come on, let me get this out. All right. So I've been waiting.
been waiting his whole
for
life?
this. I've been waiting my whole life. for this. So Green Bay, Wisconsin is known for the world's largest fudge packing industry, and
Fudge.
they fudge like they pack fudge and ship it around the world, and they're known as the Packers because it's their number one export is fudge, and to pack fudge is something that they do. I swear.
Okay,
you can
it makes
Google
sense. It makes sense.
But it's
just-
a lot of team names have like real crazy stuff like the Nets, like it's different. It's crazy.
I feel like you could have
Knickerbockers,
said
What is
something a lot
what
better
is the
for
Browns? What is the
DC.
Browns? What is the Browns?
like Paul Brown,
The Brownies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
the old owner.
Yeah,
Okay.
you could have found something from DC. I feel like there's a lot of
Oh yeah,
inspiration.
about
You could have found
Commanders.
something, man.
Like
You could have
go-go
called them
music. Like,
the
Bro,
crab
the
cakes or something.
the presidents would have been better than that, bro.
Oh, damn, man. But they should have been the DC Commanders. They should have changed the Washington DC Commanders. That would sound a little better.
yeah.
Landover.
No, I'm pretty sure they can't use DC, man. They might have got sued.
Yeah, Red
Oh, no.
Tail, something. But
But now I feel like it's weird. We're gonna have to just get used to it, just because it's gonna be. It is
Yeah.
what it is.
Do
but,
y'all
like,
think it was
we
better
don't
than
like
the football, the Washington football team?
yes,
You
personally,
think it's better?
it's more.
I feel like we
Nah,
kind of just
nah.
I mean, we're gonna grow on it, but I don't know.
It's more
I think-
marketable.
I feel
And
like
honestly,
Mhm.
I'm gonna go real quick. Honestly, a lot of their fans are still calling them the Redskins, so I don't
Sure.
think a lot is changing.
Yeah.
If you talk to like their fans, I went to the Cowboys football team game this year, and everybody still had on Redskins hoodies. They're all still calling them the Redskins. Like nothing has changed. If anything, I think it kind of irritated them. You know.
Man, how much Redskins jersey is
Yeah.
going to be going for StockX in 50 years? No, it's going to be
Right.
busting.
Right.
But no, I seen a thing too. Was like what Z said about getting used to it. Like they was like when the Titans first came in, everybody thought the Titans were the worst name. Now you kind of look at it, that's pretty dope.
No, you just grow on
But-
everything. It's just a preference right now that we all would have wished it would have been something
Yeah,
else.
it's not the
But do we
even
think
though
about
our
the
team-
What do we think about the jerseys?
Yeah, they could have did better. Sorry,
I mean,
just that
wait,
W
I mean,
on the helmet is so plain.
The W on the front of the helmet, I like it though.
Yeah, the black ones I like, just not
Yeah.
the red helmets.
but every team, yo, you know what the best jersey was? I got so much like hate. It was the Steelers, the Bumblebee. I think that was so different. It wasn't like it was like colorful. It was just so
That
different. I
joint
feel like
is ugly, bro.
That
no,
joint
it
is
was so
ugly, man.
different.
Disgusting.
No, okay, it doesn't matter. It was different. Though. It wasn't.
Disgusting.
It was not normal.
We
So
want
it's
to talk
like,
about top jerseys all time, bro. Like you got to put in Cowboys Thanksgiving Day.
all right.
Stop it,
Old
bro.
throwback.
So what's the next topic?
Yeah.
Why?
I'm dead,
Bro,
man.
you
While
know
we
for
talking
sure.
about the NFL, there's been some controversy going on lately about players taking payment and salaries and stuff in Bitcoin
Oh my
or
god, yeah.
other cryptocurrencies. You had one person come out and was like kind of downing everybody, championing people taking their bonuses and things like that in crypto. And basically what he's saying, like he used Odell Beckham Jr. as like a an example, and he's saying that on November 12th, Odell signed a deal with the Rams for $750,000, and he announced that he was getting that in Bitcoin, right? At the time, Bitcoin was worth 64K, and today it's worth 35K. So he's saying that deal today is worth only 412 when he signed it, it was worth 750. And he's saying based on where Odell lives and you account for state and federal taxes of that 412, you got to take out 50%. But that 50% is assessed on the 750, right? So by the time you do all the math, at the end of the day, he's only taking home 35K based off that because the taxes were assessed on the 750.
Crazy, man.
So I mean, what are y'all thoughts on it? Right. I think it's just some propaganda to get people away from crypto. If you know anything about crypto, is that it's an asset, and assets are, especially that type of asset, is volatile, and you understand that it goes up and down, right? It's part of the game. But the thing with getting these bonuses and stuff such like that is that some stuff you want to take in cash and then maybe transfer it once your taxes have already been paid and assessed. But I don't know, man. So what's your
right?
thoughts?
That's the biggest thing.
Because I think taxes killing.
That's my like I don't know the background context. Yeah, that's my thing. Like I don't know the background, but like people buying it. Of course, you don't know when Bitcoin's gonna drop or get higher. So it's like you can't really be mad at them for getting in that 60,000. But just the taxes on crypto just makes me uninterested in terms of like just putting my salary go right to crypto, because like that's 50% taxes and all that stuff.
I think
that's how the government gets you on that.
That's just a dumb move by him, bro. Like when you start talking that much money.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's doing fine. He doesn't really need that extra 750,000. But
like a risk, I can't
bro. Like it to me when I saw that, it didn't make any sense, because at that point, like, when is the last time Bitcoin really took off? When you
what do you mean? That much, Bitcoin been taking off.
But what I'm saying is into a point where you want to invest $750,000 worth in it. Like
in 2017, Bitcoin went from 3K.
That's what I'm saying. That was 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
Yeah, but let me explain. 2017, it went from 3 to upwards of where they hit 19, then dropped back down. And then last year in 2021, it went from 3 at the beginning of last year, January. Bitcoin was 3K and it hit all the way up to 60K. So you know what I'm saying? If you would have caught that, that's what I'm saying. You got to know, as a person in the NFL, I'm pretty sure you got enough money to chill out. You can take risk. You got to understand what your risk tolerance is, and sometimes it's a good decision. And a couple years from now, maybe when Bitcoin 200K, he'd be laughing at all of us. Right.
I mean, that's the plan, right? But I mean, in my mindset, I want to buy low, sell high, not buy high and sell higher, And
that's
I came because it's like, because it was high at that time. It was kind of like, of course, unpredictable, but at that time, it was
you
crazy.
Want to do the opposite, right? You would want to wait till it dipped and then put your money in.
Yeah, but it don't work like that when you sign in contracts. You can't be like, oh, all right, I'm gonna sign my bonus when Bitcoin hit 20K. Like it don't work like that. If you elect to take it the crypto, that's your form of cash, man. So you know what you get into when you accept that.
I was just referring to what you said earlier, how you said he could have took it in cash and then put some, you know what I'm saying, and transferred it over. That's what I would have done personally. But I mean, I'm sure he's not struggling for money.
What we really need to have a conversation about is
NFTs.
Talking about how the normal people here, that athletes or famous people, are getting these big deals and don't realize, like, once you hitting certain money, a ton of money, man, you paying upwards of 50% taxes on some of this stuff. So
Right.
you hearing these big deals that these people are getting, and you don't realize that half of that money they never see. And then by the time you take up a manager fee, a 20% lawyers fees, man, they barely getting, pennies on the dollar of what was announced. We got to break that down one time.
Yeah. It's big too, because a lot of people don't understand. Like, I know they got a lot of financial advisors, but the people that don't, the IRS be after them.
Yeah, because you gotta imagine, right? You saying he signed that deal for $750, right? And all we did is just basic state and federal tax, and then the fluctuation of Bitcoin from when he signed to present day. But out that $750, right? What percent of that is going to his manager / agent? What percent of that is going to his lawyer that looked over the deal, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure he got an accountant or some kind of financial planner. What percent is going to that person? A lot of people, you walk around here like, oh yeah, it's such and such signed $100 million deal. I mean, you don't realize that once you get to a certain level and you get these advisors and stuff, they're not working off of hourly wages. They taking percentages.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that though, because my bad, Mo, if you want to go.
No, that was you can go on it.
I was saying, personally, I'm okay with that, because when they sign, I'm not really talking about Odell, but I'm talking more of the Patrick Mahomes, Dak Prescott money. When they get that, like, say Dak Prescott got $150 million. I don't know exactly how much it was, but with fees and all that, if he sees half of it, which he probably will, he's probably going to get at least 50% of that. That's still $75 million. Like, that's more than enough money where he'll never spend it. His kids, his grandkids, they're all going to be set up for life. So I'm not really bugging over all that. Personally, me, my family, all of us in this podcast most likely will never see that money ever in our life. So I think at that point, you just got to be grateful you got half of it,
Yeah, especially depending on the type of state they're in too. I think underrated, like, price, underrated thing about like NFL players. I think a lot of them care about where they live. People don't look at that a lot. I'm like, cause I'm saying, my stepdad, when he played for the NFL, he was saying basically like the Buffalo Bills, he got drafted to them. He was like, yo, nobody wants to play for that city because it's so cold, it's nothing to do, and stuff like that. So teams like that, they got to pay the most money out. Don't get me wrong, a lot of players like want to win, so they go there to win and stuff like that. But it's crazy.
All right, man. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, you got states like Florida and Texas that have no income tax as well. So
you gotta be strategic, man. California was definitely the wrong state to be living in, and signing deals and stuff. You got to have a permanent residence somewhere where it's beneficial, man. It ain't about not paying tax. It's about tax avoidance. You got to be smart and strategic. Well, while we on the topic of money, man, I don't know if y'all seen lately, it's floating around the internet that some of these big banks are are publicizing that they're no longer going to be charging overdraft fees. I know that's something that plagues a lot of people, man. And even hit me every now and then. You get them overdraft fees. So it's like, it's crazy, because it's like the example they give is like, man, you go buy a $2 cup of coffee, and then next thing you know, you check and you got a $35 fee hit because you was a dollar or two short, man. So I know those overdraft fees definitely be hurting people, and I feel like it is a ploy to kind of keep people down. And if you look at it, like, some of these banks are really eating off overdraft fees. Like, if you look at their balance sheets, like, overdraft fees are more money that they're making from them overdraft fees than like the actual financial services that they are providing to their customers. So that's a real big one, man. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's so crazy. Like, I remember when I first joined the military and I got Navy Federal, I had Bank of America before that, and I kind of forgot I had it. Like, I took all my money out, stuff like that. They said they were going to close the account. And then, like, I remember, like, a year after I thought I closed it, I got an email from them. It was like, you've been overdrafted over $1,000. I was like, yo, I hadn't even looked at it. I thought they closed the account and they just kept overdrafting me. And like when I was young, I didn't really read my emails like that. I was like, yo.
Nah, them overdraft fees be killing, yo. You be like, you be feeling like 50 cents over, and then you get hit with that $30 charge.
Especially if you're young.
Nah,
like, it's good.
I feel like college students, high school students, they suffer with it the most, and then they get hit with that fee. And I feel like that I feel like this whole Bitcoin and all that kind of like banks doing all this kind of like lets people like move towards that way where banks are just, there for no reason. They'll take your money and just hit you with fees. You don't have money. And I feel like as a young kid, it affects them the most more than any other person. I feel older people, obviously, you got some savings, you got a little bit of money in there not to like be in a situation like that. But
I don't know what that is, man. Overdraft fee. What's that? I ain't never got one of them.
Oh my,
oh my goodness.
You can't stand certain people, yo. That's crazy, yo.
I'm just playing. Nah. Back in the day, bro, high school, and like even when I was going to like a little bit of college or whatever, it was rough when you get hit with, you go to buy, I don't know, lunch, and you're like, oh, I got a certain amount of money, but say a little bill came out, like, a phone bill, and you didn't realize it was this week, and then you go to buy something. Or what got me was gas, because when you buy gas with a credit card or a debit card, it just does $1 for like a couple days, and then it'll kick in with all of it, and then you're like, damn, now I got minus $70 in my bank account. What am I gonna do for the next week and a half?
I used to love when back in high school, I would always go to rural farms because rural farms would only take $1 out and you could go a day or two. So it'd be like, all right, I know I'm going to be getting a couple of dollars in like 2 days from now. So I can go ahead and fill the tank up and I can go spend the rest of my money in my account. And then, a day or two later, they'll go ahead and withdraw the whole amount. So that definitely
crazy how much
saved me back in the day, yeah.
It's crazy how much money we used to survive on back in the day. Like, we used to have like, if you had $1,000 back in the day in your bank account, like if you in high school, you was like the man.
Nah, you could survive like a whole year, if not semester.
Yeah, we gotta definitely have a.
We had working periods back then. That's wild.
Talk about that, but like I just looked it up, right, and it said in I think this was in 2021, all U.S. banks together made $15 billion from overdraft fees, yo. $15 billion just from charging people fees on spending money that they didn't have, yo. And
how they gonna recover that money?
You know what's wild? So like this whole concept of like when you put money in and you trying to get like a few, they charge you like not even 1%, on like savings for like you putting your money into their account. And then when they give you a loan, they're going to charge you like 20% or 24, 25, whatever. I don't even know the numbers. But, like it's like when you giving them the money and the whole concept of banking is just making money off of, charging you loan and getting money from one person. It's, it works for them. Obviously, it's successful, but it's kind of wild.
Yeah. Right.
The concept is like they're making money off of you, just charging you these overdraft fees, charging you on loans. And it's your money. It's one person's money. That money that I might deposit might give to Chris or Anthony might deposit. It's just going from one person to another. But
yeah, that's why you got to understand the financial system, man. You got to use it to your advantage.
Yeah.
What we got next, man? What's up?
Hold on, a quick one. Let's go with this one real quick. Like they talk about like you got to report to the IRS.
You seen that? the over $600, and then the other joint about illegal income and stolen property. Man. They want you to report now.
I think that's just been there. I think it's just somebody just saw it now and put it up on social media now. I feel like that.
Nah, they put out a statement. That's new, yo.
Yeah, that's new. Yeah. That's started in 2022. It sucks for like tattoo artists and stuff like that.
So like, who would put that up?
That's what I'm saying. That's definitely
you stole something. Like,
yeah. So don't send me no more money on Cat. Don't send me no money on Cash App.
Yeah. They said they want to
So with Cash App, actually, this is what I got to say about that. So Cash App, I use it a lot to get tips. So like there's 2 ways to tip, there's 3 ways to tip at the barbershop. You can put it on your card, which I hate because they're gonna tax that out my paycheck. I don't want that at all.
Jesus Lord.
Cash obviously is the best, but I also have Cash App, Venmo, all that stuff. But so if they put just like $20 and they don't put anything on the title, they will not tax that like at the end of the year. But if they put for barber, for haircut, for any kind of business, Cash App, Venmo, or whatever sees that, and they will get me at the end of the year for that. So when I tell people to cash me through any type of app or whatever, I just say leave the title blank or just put, for food or whatever to get around it.
That's interesting.
Yeah, no, I heard something about that too. I heard it's not as I know they said they're gonna start like what Chris said. We think that every $600, it's not like that. If it's for business, it's all on business stuff.
He's like, what if I said 599 on this?
Nah, they'll tax anything.
Yo, you know that like that's actually a crime. Like, like right now it's at 10K, right?
Yeah, so, we just so for the government, we have proof that Chris admitted he's laundering money.
That's not lawn, bro. Come on, bro.
Yeah. So,
I'm joking. We got evidence. Like, nah.
Yeah, we got him. Come on. We got him.
all that food money these random people be sending him, those are tips for his business.
Bro, why are you getting $500 for buying
Chris,
food?
You ate 5 lunches today? You had 5 lunches today? What's going on?
What?
All right, man. Let's get into this next joint, man. They got some new information came out about the killers of FBG Duck. FBG Duck's mom got on Instagram. I believe they unsealed the indictment they did on the infamous O Block members. And what happened was that the indictment kind of laid out that from the time that FBG Duck got out at Gold Coast and went to one of the stores, that the members at O Block were notified, and they got security camera footage, 7 locations of them from leaving O Block and going to the murder scene. Man, they got video of them running down the steps, getting in the car speeding and hitting the swag surf through the intersections and everything, and then ultimately pulling up at the Gold Coast and committing the homicide of FBG Duck. So that was some information that came out over the last weekend. Also, something that came out like last night is that the U.S. prosecutors sent a letter that they wouldn't be pursuing the death penalty for these defendants, man. So what's your thoughts on this, man? The Chicago, for all the Chicago heads out here, that this is big news, man. This is one of like the only high, and I was gonna ask Mo about this at the end. Like, this is like one of the only high profile cases where you actually seeing like a commitment of like police action. And I think it's only because of the location of where the murder happened at. I feel like if it was on South Side, nobody would care.
Yeah, it's crazy though, because it's like it's just like Vaughn, was so big at the time. You would think, they were still an O Block like that. Now I'm saying Vaughn was at the peak.
Segment
why
without
dudes...
mentioning this clown Vaughn.
No, I'm saying why would these dudes try to go out and allegedly kill FBG Duck?
Ain't no allegedly. What are you talking about allegedly? They ain't got the paperwork. More like innocent until proven guilty. It's up for Muwap. Muwap's done, baby.
But look, my thing about it with Vaughn, he would have been bigger if Duck was alive. You know what I'm saying? Because people see him two going at it the whole time. If you kill off somebody like that, it's like, you know what I'm saying, your stuff going down. So it's just crazy how, you know what I'm saying, they should have just stopped with all the drilling, moved out of Chicago and just rapped about what they were going to do, not actually do it. So it's like they killed off. No, karma works. Karma always going to get you back.
Yes, sir.
They came to haunt them.
Nah, but it's crazy. One thing that get me, Mo, is how even when Vaughn died, the police released that they even had information on his involvement with KI and other people. And it's like, how do y'all know all of this and have all this information, but don't move forward? So it something look like some kind of conspiracy, you get into the bag of your boy, truth teller.
And he did it.
That
Oh,
man,
yeah. And he
yo
did a
said
document too.
I'm standing right around the corner. I don't want to go over there. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to respect the man. Yo, that dude be killing me, yo. But nah, like
yo,
the
I'm
craziness.
I'm a messenger, bro.
You gotta get yo on the pod. I'm dead. But nah, it'd be crazy. But like, it's nice to see that that this joint is getting a lot of attention, and I think this is Duck's case is going to bring a lot of attention to the city, and you might see some change coming from it. But from this joint, man, his is the only case bringing this national attention. The FBI is involved, and right now it seemed like Old Black ready to get, like Youngboy said, Old Black pack getting rolled up.
Oh my gosh, man! All these snitching on songs and stuff like that. Police is watching. Like, karma is real at the end of the day.
Yo, young boy said it best.
We don't know what FBG did, Duck did in the past. You know, he might seem like a good dude. Karma might have got.
Movie or no young Republican talking points, yo.
Yeah.
This man said it don't like but if you really want to get into it,
they don't kill you for no reason.
His mom said that those was pain songs, that he made those joints. He had them from when they killed his brother Brick.
Right.
So she said that he made those songs on that. So if you understand the timeline, maybe you can understand it, because he was taking a more positive vibe. But I don't. So
it was a So the thing about it too, like one of the dudes he got allegedly killed by was C Murder. His brother was Sherrod, and like Duck always dissing him. You know what I'm saying? Like he never judged a book by its cover. Maybe Duck had some involvement in that. So we never know at the end of the day.
Look at this man putting his cape on. I don't know about all that, man. Let's go ahead and hit the next topic, but we're gonna keep you all up to speed with that. What's going on? Whoopi Goldberg, man. I know y'all had to see this. Man, they going hard on Whoopi. So recently, it was like a couple of days ago on the View talk show Whoopi's on, they were talking about a book that's was taken out the school system, and they were talking about, like why it was taken out. The book was taken out because of and was for graphic language about the Holocaust and everything. So Whoopi got on there and made a statement saying that the Holocaust wasn't about race, and that it was about man's inhumanity to man. And the people went crazy. They had an uproar. They made her apologize. She apologized. She came back on the next episode, apologized. And then the next day, the company, ABC, sent out a message saying that they were putting Whoopi Goldberg on a 2-week suspension. Man, what's your thoughts on this?
First of all, I got something to say about that. What in the world is a 2-week suspension gonna do, bro? Like
it ain't doing nothing.
What are we doing here? Like, she said what she said, and then my thing is her apologizing. I hate that look, bro. Like, own what you said. Like, even if it sounds crazy, if that's what you believe, that's what you believe. But some people don't. That's up to them. But I mean, in a way, I understand what she's trying to say, but like to word it like that is kind of bad. I think she was just saying, because not everybody affected directly through the Holocaust was Jewish. Like it was more everybody. It was more somebody trying to assert self-dominance on people. I think that's what she was saying,
Yeah, I think
trying to say.
Yeah, and it came out wrong the way she said it. But like she was and it was about like a certain race. It was just like we'll never know. Or they said like Adolf Hitler always had it against the Jews because like he got denied from our school. I don't know how true that is, but like Chris said, it's all about a dominance. Like he just, you know what I'm saying? It kind of came all the way from
the thing where I don't understand is like we can all attest that in different places around the world, words mean different things, right? So like when you in the US, Whoopi's from the US, when she's talking, it's from a US base, right? When you talk about race in the US, race is based on skin color, right? And when you go to other places where you have the country that is more homogenous, right? So you go to some of them European countries where the people mostly look together, race might mean something different over there, right? So to take what she said out of context, I think is wrong. Like everybody knows that being that Jewish is a religion. is not in the United States is not a race. Like when you get the box, you don't check Jewish. It's not an option, man. You white, black, Asian, Hispanic, or they got other. Maybe they check other. I don't know. But to say like from a US based race in America is based on skin color. But when you go to countries where the majority of the population is all the same skin color, race might have a different tone, right? And then when you really look at the Holocaust and how they were trying to so like further the Aryans, the blue eyes, brown hair type people, you can kind of get the context of where race from their perspective might come in. But from the American perspective, they were all the same because they were the same skin color. And that's what I think she was saying. But like that's when you can't take stuff out of context. Because I've been like you did a survey like here and just pick any country where people are mostly the same. Race will mean two different things, right? Because everybody clearly knows United States is based on skin.
I think from a technical term, like the definition, I don't think race is color. I think ethnicity is color. Because I was actually at the doctor's office the other day and it said race and it wasn't talking about skin color. Ethnicity was talking about skin color. Race it said like Hispanic, something, and then other. Like it wasn't talking about like your race. It was more like a cultural thing. You know what I'm saying? Like ethnicity, I think, refers more directly to the color of your skin.
Yeah, that's a good thought. It's like,
you got any thoughts?
Yeah, no, I agree with what y'all are saying.
He's like, I agree. So
he's like,
you caught me off guard.
Yeah, there's not much I have to say about this topic.
yeah.
It's like they might kick us off YouTube for this one. Nah, but the 2-week suspension, man, that was.
I ain't gonna lie to you guys. I had a distraction in front of me that I've been like looking at. But yeah, I agree with everything. I heard Chris's last part. You said some wild stuff right now. I'm just gonna say you said race was not. What did you say?
It wasn't wild. I'm just telling you what the doctor's office had on the.
I know, but you said race. No, you said race wasn't color.
I think ethnicity is more. No, if you Google the term of race, I don't think it refers directly to color.
Race is color. Ethnicity is like your culture, where you're from. Like race is like your color. That's what race you are.
But like,
and ethnicity would be like your culture, where you're from. Like,
I know what he means because it's like to be talking like Asian race. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But like my wife, she's like Cambodian. She's not like Chinese or something like that. And like ethnicity, she's Cambodian.
And it's also like over there, like Gary was saying, like
I guess
Jewish was considered a race back then. Like it's a different cultural aspect. You know, it's not the same.
Where in the United States, we might not see it as a race, but you understand, different things, places words mean different things. So, but like for the backlash,
80 years ago.
True. I just felt like it could have been a teaching moment, man. You talk about certain people, they don't play no games. They get you up out of here. Hopefully, I hope Whoopi bows out. Like Chris said, the apology, man, I'm not doing that. I'm bowing out gracefully. If you don't like it, you don't like it. I'm taking
like, honestly, at
the end of the day, I'm rich.
Yeah, and like at the end of the day, I don't care. Like, this might sound a little weird, and like, I don't know if y'all agree, but like, as far as celebrities saying their view, personally, I don't care if I agree with it or not. Like, that's the thing about America. You should be able to say what you want, even if not everybody agrees with it. You know, like just.
Well, how do you feel about like celebrities getting like being like if you have a view and people don't like, and then you're just no one wants to like. Say if you're an athlete, right, and you have like a fan base, and you say something. Yeah, cancel culture. That's where
I hate it.
Cancel culture. Yeah, how do you feel about that? Because it's like you're an athlete, you're a human, you can have an opinion. Why do people not support you as a player no more just because you said something that you?
It's terrible because even like everybody, when you think of this, what comes to mind? Kaepernick, right? Colin Kaepernick, and personally, like I don't know, I don't feel his pain, I don't know his struggle because I'm not black, I'm white. And some of the stuff he says does not make sense to me, and that's just facts because I don't know it. And even though I don't know it or don't understand what he's saying, I don't really have a problem with what he's saying because it's his right to say how he feels, and at the end of the day, we shouldn't be not supporting people. I mean, to an extent, like if he would say some wild shit, like if he supported Nazi Germany or something, I'd be like, whoa, that's a little too far, don't really mess with him anymore. But just, you should be able to say what you want.
But then again, it goes back to him just having an opinion. Not saying he does, but what if you were to say that, right? For anybody, you're saying that you're okay with their opinions. How does his life or his opinions then?
I would say there's a line that, I mean,
if it's causing harm to other people and things like that. But some of the stuff be a stretch, man. Like, there ain't people coming on there saying what Whoopi said, that Jewish is not a race, like that's causing harm to people. You ain't gonna be convincing me of that.
And it's getting worse as the years goes on. It's just
you got to fight back, man. Soon you won't be able to say nothing on the internet.
And I was telling people, somebody was telling me basically, like, you a comedian, you might be out of job in a few.
Man, you see what they did to Dave Chappelle for the joint?
What about Joe Rogan?
No, I feel like comedians, when you speak as a comedian, there's no limits.
I want to know is
they saying it's limits now, but I don't think it is. But it's getting crazy out here.
You know what's crazy to me? Joe Rogan, they're threatening. They're probably going to take all his stuff off Spotify, right?
They're talking about it.
Yeah, because the whole vaccine, he's been promoting people that
he can say that, right? I mean, Joe Rogan's not allowed to say that, but if you go on Spotify it's called Call Her Daddy. They used to be a popular podcast with Barstool. She can go on.
Listening to that.
She can go on and talk. I used to.
That used to be Chris's favorite show. He told me.
I'm dead, yo.
I used to. Yeah. When they had, but like back when they had both the girls on, it was good. But ever since they got in their little fight, it's been whack for like last year. But anyways, she can go on for 2 hours and talk about.
She got like 60 million for that joint, didn't she? She got something.
I think she got 200 million for it.
Oh, for real?
Something crazy.
What the
Lord?
But she can go on for 2 hours and talk about really explicit sexual stuff, but Joe Rogan can't put his view on,
the Joe Rogan joint was crazy because at first it came out was like 200 doctors got together and said that they would wrote some letter to Spotify. Then it come out that the 200 doctors weren't actually medical doctors, and there was only like a certain percent of them were medical doctors, but other ones were like PhD students or PhDs. And it's like, all right, so then they got, I can't remember the man's name, but one of the people has a music on Spotify was saying, Neil Young said, take all my music off, you can support Joe Rogan. But you got to remember that the 2 episodes, there's really 2 episodes that they're pushing back about Joe Rogan on. And both of those episodes, he had doctors on to speak. The doctors were the ones giving the opinions, and I guess those 2 doctors' opinions didn't fall in with the mainstream narrative. But you know what I'm saying? It's not like he's having some man that's coming under a rock talking about aliens and stuff, giving you COVID. Like, these are medical professionals that have published papers.
Well, they're about to lose their license, I'll tell you that.
So let's be clear. What did he say? Because I heard what he said, but what
he just had people on the show that were anti-vaccine.
But like asking questions and pushing back and things like that.
Well, they felt like he was promoting anti-vaccine, and it's a big show. Everyone listens to it.
So this is my thing about it, and I'm kind of on the fence of both sides.
Let's see what Mo says.
Like, we know how big Joe Rogan is as a person. Like, in terms of like Spotify, and this is big too. Like, but like I get it. It's your body, your choice.
You said you were censorship, Mo.
Huh?
You were censorship.
Oh yeah.
Look, all right. Go finish your point.
Nah. So like, here's the thing. Everybody knows his audience. He's probably the biggest Spotify, the biggest podcaster alive.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and think about it, if the vaccine like saved, I forgot how much they estimated the vaccine. This was somebody told me, like, the vaccine saved like, since the vaccine came out, saved 200,000 lives. If he puts out like information like that on such a big platform, and like say like 100,000 people now won't get the vaccine because of what he said, he's potentially killing like 50,000.
Okay, so here's what got him in trouble.
And that's interesting, though. It's interesting to think that way, though.
So
I don't know if that's necessarily true, Mo.
All right, you think he'll be responsible for, let's say, 5,000 deaths?
But asking questions is... No. But imagine at the beginning of the pandemic when they were telling you that you shouldn't wear masks, right? Or they were putting people on ventilators. Now we know all of that stuff was actually, wasn't true. Like, you need to wear masks, and the ventilators was actually hurting people in a lot of cases, yo. So
how do we know that's not because of the vaccine though? That is getting better.
Well, when they were doing the ventilators, there was no vaccine, yo. That was at the beginning.
No, I'm saying that's when we had no vaccine. Now it's getting better. It's more like a common cold to everybody.
I don't know about
that.
So look, here's what I'm gonna say. So he got in trouble for a doctor coming on his podcast, and the doctor said that he was saying stuff, and Spotify told him you are kind of brainwashing your viewers into kind of going to the unvaccinated route, because he was saying claims that they say were not true. But the thing is, everything is so censored right now, according to with COVID and stuff, that there are some stuff that is true that people are saying, but the government is telling you it's not true. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like there is so much stuff that they know that they don't want to tell us, which is crazy for me to even think about that. But it's the truth. And like at the end of the day, that this kind of stuff's been going on for years and years and years. Like there's so much stuff that we don't know that the government knows. And he's just speaking up on it. And when you're that big, if you say some stuff like
everybody's listening.
That's the government's gonna come and get you, bro.
Yeah.
Like it's
but
at
like,
a certain
what if,
point,
people,
Mo, you gotta people gotta have their own autonomy to make decisions. And like what Chris was saying, think about at the beginning of the pandemic when Fauci was on there saying you don't need to wear masks, but the reason he was saying that is because they needed masks for the first responders. Like at the very beginning when there was a big shortage, right? Like if you would have came and told the American people that right now, hold off on the mask because we need those resources for people that are on the front line, like they would understand. But to tell people they don't need to wear masks and then come back weeks later and say you need to wear masks, that's where the skepticism is coming from, right?
Yeah.
My thing
that's true.
People were caught forging death certificates saying they were giving doctors bonuses for diagnosing people with COVID.
I don't know about all that.
Happened.
Yeah.
That's documented.
I heard that, yo. I don't know about all that.
Yeah.
Because you can't be a guest on our show and say wild stuff like that.
I mean,
but look,
no censorship here, right?
No, I've heard that. I've heard that, but I just don't know. That they were getting paid bonuses.
But look, let me answer this.
It's true that like in New York, they were marking people as COVID victims that were dying for other things because they were certain benefits. But for doctors getting bonuses, I don't know about. But as far as the state and government, like New York, that was a big thing with Chris Cuomo and all of that with the elderly homes and things.
Like do you honestly think the numbers are true though?
I don't know.
Honestly.
Yeah, but look at this one. Do you like Joe Rogan? Like, you gotta believe he's at least convinced around. Like, how many people you think he's convinced not to get the vaccine?
Mo, come on,
over
yo.
10,000?
People gotta
have your own brain.
Opinion. Yo, if
no,
you
I'm
listen,
saying, but people listen to anybody nowadays. Not saying we're gonna listen, but people listen to anything.
Do you
nowadays.
listen to anybody nowadays, Mo?
No, not me personally.
All right, so
but,
come on, yo.
But people listen.
What people do you know that listen to
people
anybody?
People worshiping spaghetti nowadays.
What?
You know, Jim Jones is such a big leader. Jim Jones is such a big leader.
Outbound, Mo.
How did Jim Jones, the cult leader, get so big? You got to think about it. Or how did like these people like Charles Manson, how did they get so big? They had a cult.
You got to work on people that are
just
praying,
listening.
yo. I don't think Joe Rogan is praying on anybody, yo. Those
but like,
cult leaders prey on a specific type of person.
No, I'm saying he has such a pull.
No. So cult leaders will specifically, like Gary said, target weak-minded individuals. Rogan.
I'm not saying. Do you think people listen to Joe Rogan in general though? Yes.
Yeah, I do. Like I listen to him. I enjoy it. Like it's
so people hearing this facts, people like, oh yeah. So he's talking facts. Like,
but I don't know. But I don't look at him like that. I look at him as a show. Like I also watch.
But people do.
I watch people on TV.
But whose
all the
fault
time,
is that? You can't say that that's his fault that people blindly are listening to what he's saying.
But they think his information is real when it's really not without looking it up.
Come on, you're not going to convince me of this argument. Man. People have their own autonomy, yo.
I agree with
that. They got to make their own decisions. If they don't have enough onus to vet the information that they're receiving and they're taking information and blindly making decisions, man, I can't put that on Joe Rogan.
But I agree. Like I'm not against him or anything. But I think they saying his audience is so big, people getting sensitive about like how big he is, preaching that type of information.
But I don't think Joe Rogan's made a public stance and say don't take the vaccine. I think all he's done is ask questions. It's like the question that from what I've seen and watched of him, the question that he's been asking have asked is, do people that don't have comorbidities that are of a certain age, do they need to take the vaccine?
Yeah,
right?
That's true.
If I'm a healthy age and weight and I haven't had no diabetes or obese or things like that, is it necessary for me to take the vaccine? That's the kind of questions he's been asking, right? And from the 2 episodes that they're really mad about, he had doctors on. It's not
was
like
he kind of like
was
he kind of like proving wrong type stuff?
No, the doctors were the ones making the claims.
Oh, okay. And he was like going against it and stuff.
Man, Mo, where did you graduate your COVID class at?
Yeah,
bro. I'm saying, bro. I'm saying the people that's getting mad, if you spread misinformation and you got such a big platform, PhD. People gonna listen to you. We might not listen to him, but people gonna be like, "Oh yeah."
What is COVID misinformation, bro? Now you're starting to use
like people saying, "Oh,
you starting to use too much Twitter,
saying stuff." If he's saying
stuff
like, "Oh, doctors."
Okay. So look, that's COVID misinformation, but it's not COVID misinformation when they go on TV and say something, and then 2 weeks later they say something else.
What about when Fauci said you don't need to wear masks? Or you need to wear
a platform than Fox News. I can tell you that.
How about at the beginning of the pandemic when they said you couldn't wear the KN95s? Now they passing out KN95s at libraries. Don't laugh, yo.
But
let's talk about
I feel like both you guys.
Let's talk about the truth.
I think both you guys are right in your own places.
Yeah,
because they learned as time went on.
That's crazy.
No, because I think it was like
that's crazy, yo.
But I'm not against Joe Rogan.
I agree with both you guys because it's like I'm not saying I know I hear Anthony's point. I feel like I know where he's coming from, and I see what you guys are saying, and I know where you guys are coming from. So it's not like I feel like one or the other is right. I'm not taking one side, but I feel like it's like, and I know what you guys are saying. Like they say one thing and they're like saying something else, but it's like, it's at the situation at hand, right? Like they can't tell you to get the mask in the beginning when there's shortage of masks. No, that they didn't. It's like trial and error. This is the first time they had this pandemic. Not saying I agree with how they handled it, but it's just it's just something that we all like went through together. On the Anthony side, what he's saying is like
people believe people were believing Alex Jones. So people were like, yes.
So if somebody has a big name or they can say stuff, they have a big.
Let me ask you this question, Mo. So when you wear a mask, like there's holes in the sides of the mask when you put the mask on, like there's air coming through there, so you're breathing. Stuff still comes out. So why even wear a mask? And then to a second point is, if everybody's vaccinated, why do you need to keep wearing masks?
Everyone's not vaccinated. That's a thing.
Sure.
It's so.
But look at this. But look at this, Chris. Do you think that masks have helped, even a tiny bit, even if it's a tiny bit?
A slight bit, yes. Obviously,
so that's why people. Help. So it's like it's a due
diligence
type of thing.
But also at this point, we're almost 3 years into this COVID thing. We have to get back to normal. There's kids out there that don't know how to function because they haven't been socialized. There's people out of so many jobs that can't support for their families. Like we need to get to a point where we're living normal life.
So it's kind of like a survival of the fittest.
It's all, and
so it's not all about like.
But I'm not disagreeing. I'm not disagreeing.
So look, the majority of us in this podcast right now probably have had COVID at some point, right?
Yeah.
I know Z probably gave it to me, yo.
No, I got it twice.
I've had it twice, and I'm not vaccinated. Out on the record, right? I'm chilling, bro. Like, what are we? I'm
chilling. The people around you not chilling.
This man Z gave me COVID.
Yeah, no, I think I did.
Still putting in my medical.
I just gave you a flu.
Yeah, this man.
Actually, I got sick. I got quite sick quite a few times. I usually don't get that sick, but I feel like this last 2 years I got sick a lot.
Yeah, but if the mask is blocking even like half of it,
Bo is going serious. No, we gotta have a further conversation on this, yo. Because where do you draw the line at, Mo? So what is the size of the platform big enough where you can't openly say stuff and you're not responsible? I could understand if Rogan was on his platform saying don't get the vaccine, like, all right, but he's not doing that.
But people know he doesn't have the vaccine because they know his stance on it. They know his stance on it. People look at him like, yo,
Do you guys
He
think
does
if
have
you
the
get to no, I have a question, but do you guys think if you get to a certain level of like viewers and fame that you become a different like robotic person where you're afraid to like really show
I feel like
it's
people
like
try to
absolutely, yes,
enforce you, but it's up to you if you want to switch, man.
And that's Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan.
I feel like you can be like have like a different face that you show the media and the world, right? As like
absolutely,
a celebrity
because
and that's why they don't like Joe Rogan.
Look, because people know if you say something wrong like Whoopi Goldberg, you could be done like that. You could be out of here. Like people,
it's getting too crazy out here.
I feel like you can never. So I'm gonna say something right now. ESPN, for example, right? They are very liberal. If you say anything in the slightest conservative on there, you're gone. Like they don't play any games with that. And I feel like none of those people on TV are real when it comes
Chris
to that.
Rachel Nichols.
I'm not. I mean, I don't. We're not gonna talk about that. We're not gonna talk about that.
What happened with Rachel Nichols?
Did she say something about the lady, the other black lady, or something?
She was
basketball, she don't get the prime time spots or something like that. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
She said that the other girl got the job because she was black and she didn't get the basketball job. She was white.
And then she was canceled.
Yeah, where is she now? She used to be a big
like
name.
at some point, some stuff just need like, yo, you shouldn't be saying stuff out loud. Like, come on, yo, you gotta use your own discernment at some point.
Yeah.
I feel
especially
like
if you're in a professional setting.
But it's
like,
such because
all right, Chris, I understand, but like, at what point do you play the game? Like, if you want to talk crazy, you got to support and do your own thing. Like, if you want to go work from somebody, like, you got to, like, at a certain point, like, Whoopi knows, if we use Whoopi, like, you can't say certain stuff if certain people own the network. Like,
all right,
you see what I'm saying? Like, at what point you got to play the game, or you want to go burn down the system?
At the same time, Mo knows. So there was an anchor on ESPN. What was her name, Mo? Jamel Hill or whatever her name is.
Oh yeah.
What did they get her out of there for?
She's still there.
Say the most. No, she's not there anymore. She would say the most wildest shit, and she would never get caught until one day it was so much they had to be like, "This is enough." Like they with I'm just saying, when Rachel Nichols had one time she's out, Jamel Hill, whatever her name is, she was on there for years, just blatantly saying.
But what did she say though? Like, what did she say compared to? Was it something racist?
What did she say? They got her fired.
It was all like pretty much like anti-white. Like she would say crazy shit that I was like, God damn! Like she just said that shit on ESPN.
No, she's still tweeting. That's how I was like, she's still around. Like she's not canceled. I feel like she's still relevant to people.
Nah, TV in like a year.
Yeah. We definitely got to talk about that in the podcast, in the episode.
All right, man. We got a couple.
And
more
somebody
topics.
had an interesting topic on me. We're gonna talk about this topic on another one. But somebody was like, it is interesting. It'll sound crazy, but it's interesting.
Yeah, Mo.
It is impossible for black people to be. It is impossible for black people to be racist. Oh, we're gonna talk about another one, but it's different.
Mo just wants a reaction out of me. That's all that is.
No, you can.
That is.
I'm just saying, like,
I think it's no.
I'm not gonna put into that.
No, not you, Chris. I'm just saying. But Chris, look,
because you know what I'm gonna say. You know what I'm gonna say.
But look, the most racist white person will kill a black man. The most racist black dude, and like, I don't think they actually like hate. You know what I'm saying?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What's the definition of racism?
It's like, I don't know.
No, we'll talk about something different.
The color of their skin. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like,
nah, yo, that's prejudice. Racism has to do with power.
I mean,
it's interesting though. Like, do you think talk about Dr.
Okay, can I
Umar?
so like
Dr. Umar, I don't think he actually hates white people. He just wants to like, you know what I'm saying? I know white people
that man hates white people.
He doesn't hate white people. Like, he doesn't hate him.
If I dated his daughter, bro, he would give me the stank.
He wouldn't try to like kill you with a shotgun or something like that. Like if I dated like the most racist white dude's daughter, he would try to kill me. Dr. Umar wouldn't try to kill you. You know what I mean?
You seen Get Out?
It's interesting.
So I think it's different levels of extremists. You're saying is what
you're saying, but you gotta differentiate from prejudice and racist. Like, you can hate or not like somebody as much as you want, but if you don't have no power to affect their life, it's not doing nothing.
Right.
So it's different for certain people. Like if you saying like you're not hiring this person because they're white, black, Asian, or whatever, that's different than saying, oh man, I don't know if I want to work with this guy.
Right, exactly.
Because you don't have the power to do anything.
But it kind of goes hand in hand. So if you're like, I mean, if you have power, right? So if you're prejudiced, you are racist as well, right? If you are racist, you are prejudiced as well because you have the power to discriminate.
But Chris, look at this.
I have a question. Wait. Can I ask this question?
Okay, I'm just gonna say one thing. Listen, before Chris says anything, I think it's completely possible for Black people and all people to be racist because Black people are racist towards each other, brown people are racist towards each other, brown people are racist towards other races, and vice versa. I feel like everyone it is, but the biggest problem I feel like with America is like everyone not having the equal play field is the bigger issue.
So Gary, I don't know if I caught that right, but you're saying racism has to do with the person being in a position of power. Is that what you were saying? So if I were, this is just, I'm really trying to grasp this. I'm not trying to be a dick or anything, excuse my language. So if I were me as a barber, if I were going to a black barbershop, me as a white guy, and apply for a job, and they solely did not hire me because I was white, is that racism or prejudice? I'm just completely asking. I have no.
But they're not racist towards you. They don't hate you. You know what I mean?
But it doesn't have to.
He has a point. Like he has a point. He has a point.
You know what I'm saying, Z?
No, they don't. Yeah, they don't hate you. Like, do you think like they'll like?
They have power to hire him or not? So he's coming from. I'm not saying
look at this, Chris. Do you think outside of work they not gonna fuck with you?
No, but there's plenty.
They gonna fuck with you outside of work.
But the same to say with white
people.
But
it's about the power thing.
That are white that are racist that have black friends.
But look, when we talk about Dr. Umar, if you dated his daughter, do you think Dr. Umar would try to kill you?
This man, Chris, I mean,
that goes along with how extreme you are.
Analogy and Umar killing.
Okay, Anthony, that's like.
But if I think like
killing people is more on a personal moral level than racism because
that's what I kind of meant. Like the personal like super racist.
All right, yo, let's get back to Chris's barbershop analogy.
Yeah, let's try to wrap this up.
I was honestly just asking a question. I wasn't trying to stir the pot or anything. I was just
the barbershop one. For me, it's hard to say, right? But I would say yes and then no because for the barbershop, like at the face level, it is. Right. But then when you look at like if you're a business owner and the majority of their clientele, if you're talking about a black barbershop, is going to be black people. Most likely, the black person is not going to pick a white person to cut their hair.
I deal with that all the time. People ask me when I cut hair, the first thing
right.
Me,
you know what I'm saying? So
can you cut black people hair? And I say, yeah. And they always say, no, you can't. And I'm like, I can, you know? Like,
so, I mean, like with that one, since you're catering to an audience that's not
right
of your own, it brings it more complicated. But I guess to the question you asked, I would say yes. But with that one, it's not as clear cut. But since you're catering to that particular crowd, right?
Yeah.
Most stuff is not like that. It's not like you're catering to that crowd.
Right. That situation's more clear cut.
Because people don't believe I say I could cut like white hair.
Mm-hmm.
No, but Anthony, you can't cut the top. You can do the fade, but the top is hard.
This man Z.
I'm gonna teach him. I'm gonna teach him. Don't worry. I'm gonna teach him.
All right, y'all want to talk about Tom Brady? Y'all care about Tom Brady retiring? I don't got no thoughts on Tom retiring.
Nah, it's
I don't really got nothing to say about that. You know,
he's not the greatest athlete of all time. He's the greatest sports player of all time.
Yeah, LeBron's the greatest athlete for longevity and everything.
LeBron's the best athlete. Yeah.
What about Rihanna, man? People was going crazy on the internet. They was crying and everything that Rihanna was pregnant. You have any thoughts on that? Well, I thought this man Drake was ready to have a mental breakdown. Yeah, what's going on with your boy?
He is right now. He's going through it.
Yeah.
What's going on with your boy, man?
But it's low key. But it's low key crazy, like how like industry. Because I didn't realize how many people she dated. She dated A$AP Rocky. She dated Travis Scott,
Chris Brown,
and it's crazy how like just they get not passed
around. Beat her
up,
didn't he?
Bro, you don't gotta be nice with your words.
She did it.
If she was passed around, it was that's what it is.
It's like, yo, it's just so many connections. That's just crazy. Like Julia Fox dated Drake.
What about Lori Harvey?
It's just
Lori Harvey.
Oh yeah, oh my goodness. Sorry. She dated
P. Diddy and his son. She dated Diddy and the son.
You're right.
That's
I
weird,
forgot
yo.
about that.
Diddy and the
Yo,
son.
that's crazy.
Could you imagine messing
That
with a
is
girl
crazy, bro.
that your dad messed with? Yo, that's OD, yo.
People not talking about that enough. Yo, that's crazy.
I wonder if they ever. Never mind.
You're crazy, yo. Chris is messed up. Man.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's like, damn, I had to edit that
Yo,
out.
so good. What? I don't think we got no edits episode.
Nah, we straight, yo. All right,
Yeah,
last topic, man.
Yeah.
We got to set up the barber challenge, man. What's going on with this joint, yo?
Oh, what? You want the smoke, Mo?
Z was talking to that
Oh
Chris
my
was
goodness.
talking
No,
some
let me.
smack, yo.
I'm gonna get my. I've gotten cuts from both. I'll give my honest opinion. I haven't gotten cut from Chris for in a while, but Anthony's
When I
fades,
was in
like
school.
you're not touching them, right? Like I think Anthony does a nice job on his fade.
Oh.
But one thing, Anthony, just because like I have straight hair,
Yeah,
like
it's
a white,
sense.
you can't do it. You can't do it. I'm gonna be honest. It's because you're used to the curly hair, right? You can do the fade. You can do the fade. You
Nah,
can't
it's
do my
crazy.
hair at the top. I've seen you do it, and
Nah,
you can't
so
do it.
you were just so
But
particular.
Chris?
You just so particular. Chris can't probably relate to this. You was just so particular, Z. Like with the type of fade you are. Like you're like, if the curve is off.
No, I'm not talking about the fade. I'm
you were
fine with
like,
the fade. I
not a
said
fade.
you're not listening.
No. I'm saying. So when it comes to like the on top hair,
Yeah.
I got like plenty of pictures like me cutting like scissors and stuff. No, I'm not the best at it, but I know how to do it. Like I'm like, okay, he wants it so particular.
Yeah.
Like it's like
So look.
it's kind of like
that me saying that does not mean that Chris. I would say that Chris does it. I don't remember how Chris did at the top, but I just remember when I got it from Chris a while ago. You know, he was a work in progress. I haven't seen it recently, but I mean, I give my just saying in general, like the fades. Anthony can do the fades on no matter what type of hair it is. The top is you're not
Here's
there
what I'm
yet.
gonna do, Z. I actually got a free haircut card for you that I was about to give you.
Hey
So,
yo, let's
slide through, right? You can come
Z's
through.
like, yeah, just a tip. So
When you are like, I'm good from like.
No, we'll talk about this
tomorrow
afterwards. But yeah,
to whatever. But anyways, what I was gonna say is, the last time I cut Z, it was over the summertime, right? So it was like 7-8 months ago.
Yeah.
It was a minute. So
yeah.
a lot has changed since then, you know.
What's your favorite clippers you use, Chris? Like terms of like, I know we all probably get the same type of trimmers that we all go with. That's like all universal. But what's type of the best fading clippers?
For my fellow barbers out there, a lot of us use. I love the Oster Octanes, and for adjustable clippers, I've been using the Wall Seniors, but I might try to switch.
Yeah, the Wall Senior, the low pros.
I might try to grab the Magic Clips. I used to cut with them a little bit. They're just a little lighter. They get me like you're not in the shop all day. Like I'm in the shop all day, and those Seniors are really heavy. So like it just kind of wears out when you like holding the clipper all day. Your hands start to get sore, and it sounds crazy, but when you're doing it for 10 hours a day, like it's
What's some of the days you hate when? What are some of the days you hate when clients do? I'll tell you right now.
Personally, I hate cutting kids. I can't
that's the worst.
I can't stand it. They don't move.
Kids are the worst.
I'll grab them.
They move too much.
I'll grab them with my left hand and like put them on my chest and cut them. Like it's better, I noticed, to keep the parents as far away as possible. So I'll send the parents up to the front and they can wait. Yeah. So it's just me and the kid, and I'll literally look at him. I'll be like, "Look, we're not messing around." Like, no, dead ass.
I know.
Like, I look at him in the eyes, and I was like, "Do you want me to cut you? Because if you move, these are gonna cut you. Like, you gotta just. Sometimes you gotta do it." But,
the worst thing is when people don't know what type of cut anything is. Like they'll come in and just be like, "Yo, just give me a fade." I'm like, "Yo, you want a low fade, medium fade?"
So at that point, you gotta
you gotta do it yourself.
You just gotta take control. So when people, a lot of times in the shop, people will just be like, "I want a 1 to a 2," and they point up here. They point all the way up to the top of it and put the 2 there. But as a barber, you can't go with the 2 that high. So everybody that asks that, I give them a skin taper on the back up to a 3 guard, and they all love it. So it's kind of, you kind of gotta deceive them a little bit, and just. You're not deceiving. You know what they want, and they don't know what they want. You know.
Right. It's the worst when it's like a cut would be better for somebody, but they want like a certain type. Like I hate when people like do the box around the back when I know like a little tiny fade taper on the back is way better.
Yeah, I don't.
Like I had to cut somebody. He was like, "Yeah, let me get a box around the back."
Oh, you mean the squared up?
Yeah, squared up.
Yeah,
around
I don't square off anything unless they ask me to. I do a taper.
What's your view on enhancements?
You doing Beijing's out here?
Yeah, so I don't use Beijing.
I like this compressor
because it's
compressor is the best.
Beijing's a little rough. It's a little hard. It's got a lot of chemicals in it that if it gets anywhere on the skin too long, your skin will break out real bad. So I use basically I just use a hair dye and I mix alcohol in it 50-50 into the compressor and very lightly around the hairline if they ask or if I get them to go for it, because a lot of my clientele is straight hair and a lot of people don't want that. It's more of a textured hair kind of thing.
Yeah.
I use it on some straight hair, but
let me ask y'all this. Man, what's going on when y'all be cutting the skin and putting the alcohol on it, yo? What's up with that, yo? Somebody gonna smack one of y'all one day.
But like I like it because like when I'm people, like when I was telling people on the shit though,
when you get that shape up on the back of the neck, yo, and they hit them with that alcohol.
But people like it because they know it's working. Like when I'm telling the shit.
If it burns, it's working because
of course, kids hate that. Yeah,
it's closing up the pores on the back on your skin because you
gotta get that cherry alcohol, Chris.
Nah, the black cherry oil sheen.
That's
the cherry, in the black household, ain't it?
The cherry alcohol, alcohol smell. That just
the oil sheen, though. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
the orange bottle. Everybody has that. Bro. Every household has that.
Dang.
But yeah, it's just the alcohol doing its job. You don't want to keep that open. That's how you get ingrown hairs.
Facts.
But I mean, we could do this battle whenever.
Let me ask you: Have you worked on cutting like the straight hair to get your experience up to be able to?
Every day. I do know how to do it.
Nah, yo.
The way you wanted it was just so weird. Like I got hella pictures, like dude. Like
I want to
wear like. If a dude wants like, if a dude has like long hair,
I got an idea. When Mo gets back, he'll cut my hair and then I'll cut his hair.
Yeah, yo, we gotta set up we gotta set up a competition with like 3 heads each. Speed, you gotta have like
3 heads. No, bro.
It's too
much.
I
need my money when I cut. Kerry,
oh my goodness, yo.
I don't work for free.
Yeah, he said he don't work for free.
This is for the best SB barber, yo. This is gonna be the trophy. You gotta take home the marbles.
And we gotta do a follow-up podcast on it,
Yeah.
Facts.
We gotta set
I say we set up a podcast while getting the cut. We set up a podcast.
You're gonna hear.
He's like, y'all was completely serious. Like,
yeah, buzzing in the background the whole time.
Does he actually like that?
But I'm gonna plug myself real quick for anybody listening. I'm cutting at a Social Barber Lounge at Early Heights now, so right there by the firehouse, by the 7-Eleven we just opened up. There's gonna be a new location coming to, probably within the next 5 months. If you know where the old Park Deli in the Flores used to be, on Benfield, that's gonna be our next location. So I'll be there.
They're gonna do 2 in Savannah Park.
They got 2 in Savannah Park.
Yeah, there's gonna be another one coming at the Park Deli.
What the heck?
Because the one on Benfield is gonna be geared towards more Savannah Park, and the one on Ritchie Highway at Early Heights is kind of more towards Pasadena anyway. So we're trying to get more Pasadena people to that one.
Dang, how's the clientele? Like, is it like usually packed and stuff?
I'm the only barber in there, and we probably see 30 to 50 people a day. I cut probably 20, 25 a day.
Good Lord.
Yeah. So business is booming right now.
Crazy.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Well, man, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this joint up, man. Y'all got any final last words?
I just want to say thank y'all for having me on here. It's crazy that it took you this long to get me on here, man, but I'd love to be back again, So
yes, sir. That's
we'll see what we can do.
All right.
Lie, yo, we got you.
No, I'm joking, yo. It was fun having you on. It was a lot of good
Yes, sir.
Make sure you get that business card, yo. Go check out Chris, man. You need a fresh cut.
Yes, sir.
And with that said, we out. Thanks for tuning in to Opinions to Million podcast. Please subscribe, like, comment, share. New episode dropping every week. You want to hop on the next one? Shoot us an email. Follow us on all social media at Opinions to Million. We out.